Okay, it says we're live, Cowboy. And I got
I'm live.
second time today I've gone live, and we've got some people in the chat. We got Gary Spikes Senior, Lady in the Woods, Miss D there, Eugene, he came back, Crystal J. Yes, it is about time. Who else I got here? Amon Chris, Eugene, Amon Chris, Joe Dryden, Kansas Squatch. He came back from earlier. Pork and Beans, and I got a guest here. As you can see, I really am in the woods, and I'll tell you, one of us two sitting here. I got the Squatchin Cowboy here, and hey, there's Andy. How you doing, Andy? One of us is really in the woods, so. So anyway, I'm sitting here fighting mosquitoes. That's the only hostile animal that I have ran into. Yeah, you can't see it. You can't see it, but right behind me, I've got one of those mosquito candles burning. There's Midnight Ventures, Pyromedic there. Pyro. Welcome everybody.
My buddy Pyro.
So I got a campfire with green stuff on it, burning smoke on that side. I got my mosquito candle behind me. And I think these mosquitoes down here are immune for the biggest part because they don't seem to be thwarted very much. Anyway, I've just been setting my camp up. It's getting closer to dark. We still got a little ways to go. And Joe was on here earlier, and I sent him a message, said, hey, you want to come hang out with me on the show live in the woods? And he did. He even brought his own woods with him.
That's right.
But yeah, I tell you what, there's I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right. Laissez Fair. Welcome there. But no, Joe, you did a video here the other night that I thought was very appropriate about sounds that people mistake for the Sasquatch. And being I'm out here in the woods and I've been hearing all kinds of things around me, I thought it'd be a good guest to have on here out in the middle of nowhere.
Well, I'll come on anytime you want me to.
Oh yeah. But yeah, hey, did you mention a fox in your show the other night?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I have had occasionally I have people send me recordings they have recorded out in the woods or whatever that they think is a Sasquatch, and coyotes and foxes have been the number one mistaken identity that I've gotten so far.
I did one of an armadillo. I didn't even know an armadillo made a noise.
I've heard them grunt before.
I mean, yeah, but this is the one. I got some video in my video that it's screaming, man. It's just wild noise.
Yeah. I never heard anything like that. Was that a regular armadillo from around here?
Yes. Yes.
Really?
He said he turned the armadillo over, just pushed him over, and he started screaming like that.
Yeah, I had no idea that they did that. All I've ever heard them do is grunt like a pig.
Yeah. Just snort.
Yeah, well, I've had Pyromedic said he knew all of the sounds except the porcupine. And yeah, that's kind of me, Pyro. We don't have porcupines down here, so I've never really looked into that. But I've heard the fox, Joe. There was the guy riding bicycle across the country, and he stopped at a place that had like supposed recording of a Sasquatch, and it was a red fox. And what a lot of people don't realize, a red fox can scream and sound.
Many different sounds come out of a fox, not just one. I mean, they just same with a bobcat too. Though bobcats can make some crazy noises,
especially when they're upset.
Yeah, the one that we heard, me and my wife heard when we was in Hugo, it sounded like a baby seal that was lost. After we got back home, my wife got on YouTube, started looking at it, and came across a bobcat mating call.
No kidding.
Almost just about what we heard. And it, like I said, we thought it was a seal, a baby seal. That's how crazy it was.
Wow. So you've been up to Oklahoma lately?
Hadn't been anywhere. I've been saving my nickels and dimes to go up in the mountain somewhere.
Oh yeah.
And I'm trying to get a new truck, or not a new truck, but a new to me truck.
Yeah, I'm going to get a new one as soon as the prices come back down a little bit, but I'm not paying what they're asking right now.
I'm trying
Crystal
to
says the rabbit screaming is kind of creepy. Yeah, there's a lot of the rabbit let out a screaming. Have you ever surprised a baby deer?
Yeah.
Those things. I remember one time, a long time ago, Joe. I was investigating a sighting of a Bigfoot up in by Disney, Oklahoma, up there by Grand Lake, and the guy is two officers, off-duty officers. They really did see one of these things, but they brought a buddy with them one time, and we went walking through the woods at night, and there was a baby deer hunkered down in some grass, and this guy stepped right on top of it, and that deer let out this piercing scream. And this officer, I do give him credit because he didn't start shooting, but he just melted straight down into the ground. I mean, he just almost fainted. And I was very happy that I didn't get shot, from that. So he had good firearms discipline, but yeah, that thing let out that just piercing scream that they can do,
I've never heard it myself. I mean, but I heard it on YouTube videos, but I've
heard it a couple of times. Once I was in driving a four-wheeler in one of our hay fields and just about ran over one going real slow, and it jumped up out from under me, letting out that scream. So yeah, somebody didn't know what it was. They may blame that on Bigfoot too.
Yeah, like I say, I think Bigfoot mimics other animals in the woods and everything. But I mean, you just can't sit there and say, "Oh my God, that's a Bigfoot doing that." You just can't. But
what's a catbird?
What?
D, lady in the woods there, said catbirds too.
Catbirds.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe
I don't know.
If you want to elaborate on that, D, what you're referring to. But Joe, you must not have any sauce. Oh, she's going to send me an MP3. Joe, you don't have any Sasquatch behind you right there. I don't see any red circles.
I know, but there's
like you was talking about the other day.
Right there.
Right there. Yeah, that's good video you did there. David M. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I just said thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, lady in the woods, D, she said it's a bird here in Oklahoma called a catbird. Yeah, D, just send me that MP3 to my messenger, I'll listen to that. You got my curiosity up.
That's a new one on me.
David M. Says Sasquatch Ontario with Mike Patterson just released a new video, and towards the end of his video he actually shares a picture of one of the Sasquatch. Go check it out. And
I watched Sasquatch Ontario yesterday, and if that's his, this is my opinion, not David's or anybody else's. My opinion. I think he visited the Halloween store and got some Bigfoot masks, because if he thinks those are real Bigfoots, I'm sorry, folks. Have you seen it, David?
No.
It looked plastic.
I'm checking out.
One's like leaning up against the fence. It's just like right there on the camera.
Well, I saw where Steve Coles is doing a show, I think later tonight or something about that, but I haven't looked at it myself. I'm just looking at the different people we got in chat here. David M. Is, I think, a new one. Cindy Norris, hello from Pennsylvania. Used to live in Fort Cobb, Oklahoma. Well, welcome. There we got Gene Hudson. And
hey, Gene.
You guys have to overlook me if I mess stuff up, because I'm doing all of this on my cell phone. I'm used to doing it on my laptop, but I really am in the woods. So,
me too.
Yeah, like I said, one of us is in real woods. Now you've got a real picture of the woods behind you, though, so
It's not even a real
that counts.
picture. It's a painting.
Yeah, I can't. I can't make fun of you because when I'm indoors doing my show, I have a picture of the woods behind me.
Green screen thing.
Well, StreamYard, you can upload your own pictures on that and make it like that. So yeah, that's kind of handy. And all I did was upload pictures that I took in the Kiamichi Mountains. So, on that. But yeah, a lot of y'all were here earlier, but where I'm at right now is a family property here in southern Hughes County, just not very far from the South Canadian River. So this is all, there's a creek runs through the middle of this valley, which is about, the creek's about another 100 yards from me here, and it goes all the way through this valley and empties into the South Canadian River.
It's got a lot of water in it.
The creek?
Yeah.
It's got holes in it that you can fish. Yeah.
I was just wondering because last time I was up in Oklahoma, all the creeks were bone dry.
Yeah, if you came down here last summer, that's what you'd have ran into. Did you see my video with the cottonmouth striking out from under the rocks?
Yes.
Okay, that was in the Kiamichi Mountains last summer, and I went down there, and that creek had just a few little holes of water, and there were cottonmouths crammed around those holes. So.
Sure.
So I kind of like messing with snakes too.
Yeah,
I haven't seen one tonight. There's usually a lot of copperheads down here, and I brought my snake catcher and stuff for later.
Yeah, that's not nothing I want.
Do what?
There's nothing I want to do with snakes.
Sharon, hey Sharon, how you doing?
It's funny because when I was a kid, I would go out, walking the creeks and hunting snakes and frogs and stuff. And nowadays, my snakes just scare the bejeebies out of me.
Yeah, they don't bother me. You just, be aware of where you're putting your hands and feet. Like earlier, I was back behind myself here in this brush digging up cedars that we'd cut down years ago that were dead. And I was definitely paying attention to where I stepped and stuff, because of that. Crystal J said, I call snakes danger noodles. Yeah, another friend of mine calls them nope ropes. And I got a frantic message here, and I think I'm going to make a little video about it. My sister lives, not too far from here, and she messaged me the other night, said, there is a snake in my house. I said, what kind is it? She said, I think it's a rat snake. I said, oh, leave it alone. It'll just get a mouse. She goes, no. I said, do you want me to come get it? She said, duh. So I went over. She thinks it got in the house where her husband was mowing the yard and had the door open. But it is about not real big, maybe 3.5 foot rat snake. And it was up on her counter behind the sugar containers and stuff. And it didn't bite me. I figured it would. I was going to let it bite me just to get it on video, but I just reached back there and grabbed it and it was fine. But yeah, I get calls to go remove snakes from people's houses once in a while. So
my daughter-in-law had one that got in her house that was in her stove, and I had to get it out. Yeah. I was trying to get away and it crawled up into the stove, and
oh, okay. Was it a rat snake?
I was screaming, yeah, I was screaming like a little girl.
So
big old boy like me screaming.
So what was your what gave you the idea to make your latest video?
Watching YouTube videos. Yeah, I just started watching some of them, it's just I haven't been doing anything, I haven't really been going out because, like I said, I've been saving my money for certain things. And a trip, I'm planning a trip to go up in the mountain somewhere. But anyway, And I got this guy sitting there saying, man, that's a Bigfoot. Listen to that. Here's the sound of a Bigfoot. And you could clearly hear it. I think it was an elk or something. You know how elks whistle. And he said, that's a Bigfoot whistling. And I'm like, no, I think, he might have played with the sound a little bit, but, and then another guy was talking about, now I believe a Bigfoot will mimic another animal, but there was an owl, and he was saying that wasn't an owl, it was a Bigfoot. It might have been, but if I just don't like saying it's something if I can't really say, look, there's no owls around here, and I hear an owl.
Mm-hmm. Did you hear that whooping? Did you hear that whooping behind me?
No.
But I mean, that was an owl in the distance back there.
When I was up in Oklahoma, I was calling up some owls. I mean, people say I do a pretty good owl call, but I was calling up owls, but there was something there that was doing like an owl, but just a little bit different. But I cannot say it was a Bigfoot doing it, but it sounded different than just the other owls, And then when I up by Tallahena, when I was up there, I was up the top of mountains and I heard a chicken.
Really?
Now, yeah, I heard a chicken. Now, how long is a chicken going to last out in the wild up on the side of a mountain?
Well, if he's making noise, not very long.
Yeah, really, but so, and I was, a mile away from the landowner's house, and like I say, it was on 3,500 acres up there. And why is that one chicken way the heck up there in the mountain, up top of a mountain? And that's why I say I think Bigfoot mimics other animals. I think that a Bigfoot might have been down there by his house, just looking around, maybe trying to get a chicken. They got hogs down there too, Maybe he was down there trying to score a cheap meal and heard that chicken and just kind of copied it, because I don't think a chicken's going to last very good out in the wilderness.
Yeah, you wouldn't think, but yeah.
And he said that there was a sighting of a mountain lion down there. So if there's a mountain lion down there, chicken ain't got a chance.
Yeah, at the end of this valley down here, some of our neighbors, they had a mountain lion coming up to their house twice. But they've got goats and sheep and chickens. But that was a couple of years ago. Nobody has claimed to seen it. But mountain lions, they'll roam a very large area. But it does cross my mind sometime when I'm down here. But
what got me is when I was up on that guy's land up there in Tallahena, I was out in the woods, like going up in the mountains and stuff like that, and he calls me, and while I'm up in the woods, he calls me and says, oh man, there's been a mountain lion sighting down here. And I'm like, well, thanks for telling me that I'm out here in the middle of the woods.
Right.
So
let me check something real quick here.
All right.
Okay. Never mind. I'm just checking. I had some message popped up there. I just want to make sure it wasn't nothing relevant to this. But yeah, I mean, I've heard over the years that, Sasquatch can mimic animals. I've never
I can't
been
prove
in
it,
a situation where I personally experienced what I thought was, but I mean, why not? I mean, we do.
Well, like I said, I do a pretty good owl call. Why can't a Bigfoot do something like that,
Yeah. Dee down here said she's seen both black bear with cubs and mountain lion. So now where I'm at right here, I've never seen a bear here. Of course, I live about 10 miles from where I'm sitting right now, and I've seen a mountain lion close to my house before. My daughter was with me once when we saw one. It went across the road in front of us. Those kind of bugged me a little bit more than a bear, because you know the mountain lions, they're more sneaky, I think.
Right. You know, most of the times I've never had an encounter with one, but most of the times I hear that they'll run from you anyway. A mountain lion, I don't think it's going to run from you.
Yeah, I've seen in the Kiamichi Mountains, I've seen a bear twice. Both times they ran.
Yeah.
And
one of my videos right down there, I was down there by the Three Sticks Monument, you know, in that area, and I had some trail cams out, and I caught a bear on camera down there.
Amon Chris has an interesting question for us here. Joe said, has Dave or the cowboy, you are the cowboy, by the way, has Dave or the cowboy heard any reports of Bigfoot mimicking people, calling names, etc.?
Well, I've heard what some people say to be a Bigfoot, and it sounds like they're saying a name, but you know, I can't say for sure. You know, there's one. I can't remember the guy's YouTube channel, but he sits out there in the woods and he sits there and talks, supposedly talking to these Bigfoots, and every now and then you'll hear what he says is a Bigfoot. Sounds like say his name, but you never really show it. You know.
Yeah.
So,
well, Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee 3PO is here. How you doing, Mr. Lee? But yeah, I tell you what, cowboy, if I thought a Bigfoot was imitating a human voice, that would be a new level of creepy.
Yeah. You're right.
I can't remember who it was, but gosh, there's so much stuff on YouTube. Somebody was saying Bigfoot talked, and he sounded like somebody going, you know. So, now I don't remember who that was, but to me it sounded incredibly like a person going, you know.
All you want, if you want to see that video, go over there and to the search engine type in Bigfoot and look at every other video. You'll have something like that on there.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's just people claiming Bigfoot did this or Bigfoot did that.
Hey, I tell you, the best ones were, and of course, when I was in high school, I worked at a grocery store, and me and the other guys, we just loved the Weekly World News. Remember that?
Yes.
That, and everything in it's fake, but there would be headlines like, "I had Bigfoot's baby," or stuff like that. Oh my
That's
goodness!
Still out, ain't it? Ain't that like the National Enquirer? Ain't that still out?
I don't know, but the Weekly World News, they didn't even try to make it look real. I mean, it was just satire. Hey, there's Brown Whale Driver. Hadn't seen him in a while. How's it going, man? Seeing people pop up in chat here. If you just got here, me and Joe are out in the woods. One of us is. And one thing I'm having trouble doing is putting people's comments up on the screen. It's real easy if I'm on a computer. I got it right a minute ago, and I can't seem to I can't seem to make it happen again on my phone. So I'll just call people questions out as they come up. If you guys have a question for me or for Joe, if you don't mind, put it in caps so I can be sure and see it. Mr. Lee, I am in the woods in Hughes County, Oklahoma, which is it's southern Hughes County, close to the South Canadian River. I'm actually on my family's property. We have property in a valley in these mountains down here. So I come down here and camp once in a while, and I didn't want to mess with the crowds for Memorial Day, so when everybody else went to the lakes and those piles of people, I went and got away from all of it. So,
And Mr.
so
Lee, if you want
that's
to know, I'm in the rainforest of British Columbia.
I kind of thought you did. You got there real quick.
No,
You
where I live 4 miles from the lake, and everybody from Dallas comes down to this lake on the weekends and holidays and stuff. So traffic down here is worse than it is in Dallas right now. So I stay away from there. Plus, 90% of them are getting drunk too. So,
yeah, Kansas Squatch here said not everything in Weekly World News was fake. Sometimes those stories were the only way whistleblowers could leak information without fear of retaliation. Yeah, I never thought about that before. That would be a good place to do it, but let's see, Eugene, what else we got here? Viter Fetcher says Cowboy looks like the whole rainforest. Looks like he's in the whole rainforest in Olympic National Park. So
that's it.
Yeah, exactly pretty much.
And there's the Bigfoot right there.
No, it's not a Bigfoot. There's not a red circle around it.
Where's my pen?
If anybody here doesn't know what I'm talking about, Cowboy, he made a video the other day. What was it called? Stop the BS or something?
It says, first off, in real big letters, it says stop Bigfoot. And then in little letters, it says stop thinking everything in the woods was done by Bigfoot.
Yeah, and he was talking about red circles being around everything. So that's what we're kind of teasing about.
I seen a Facebook post. I swear to you, I seen a Facebook post. You can probably see it too. Somebody posted a picture of a tree line there, and they had like 12, 13, 14, 15 circles and saying they were all Bigfoots. But that's not the bad thing. The bad thing was the people that leave in the comments said, yeah, I see them.
Yeah. Hey, Pyro, I'm not in the Kiamichi Mountains here. I'm about 60. Wait, as the crow flies, about 45 or 50 miles west of the Kiamichi Mountains is where I'm at. Hey, Pecos Dylan, watching from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Love you guys. Hey, man, I appreciate that.
Hey, I like Santa Fe. Santa Fe's a cool place.
I was me and my wife went to a friend of hers got married, and they had the wedding at a resort in Santa Fe, and they invited us, and we went out there and stayed a couple of days. And we drove up into the mountains there beside it. That is a real pretty place for sure.
Hey, Mr. Lee, this mustache is for a video I'm doing that I may or may not put out. So after the video, I'm going to cut it off.
Are you doing another Outlaw Josie Wales type video?
No, it's kind of I don't want to give it away yet, but it's another Western thing. But
oh, that's cool.
It's taken me a long time to do it because I'm doing some stuff, some technical kind of stuff, that I've never done before. So I got to learn everything. I'm just playing with this and that and adjusting this and doing a whole bunch of stuff that I'm trying to enhance my brain ability to edit the videos. Okay. My dog's trying to come here. Come here. Come here. Come here.
There's something over in the woods in front of me that I've been hearing for a while and hoping it'd come close enough where I could see it.
This is
I was saying baby. Earlier, oh my gosh, you got a dog man.
This is a big baby right here.
What kind of dog is that?
Well, his mama was a full-blood Aussie, and the daddy was unknown. Some dog got in the backyard of the people, and they didn't want him. So I took him, and He is totally in love with me. I can't go outside. I can't get up without him following me all around the house. He's about a year old. He's just a big baby. If I leave him, he whines and cries. But he's my Bigfoot dog.
Mr. Lee has something for you, Cowboy. He says, I can only grow a ginger mustache, you lucky man.
Now, I see Mr. Lee with a beard and mustache.
Pyromedic, better watch it, Mr. Lee. He's a foot taller than me. Yeah, Joe, he's pretty tall. I ran into Joe down at Jefferson, Texas.
Yeah.
Now,
I ran into Pyro up there in Honubby. I'd say it right. Honubby. That's where I met Pyro at.
Yeah, you were there this year, but I didn't run into you there.
Yeah, I think you stayed in the little conference building, wasn't you? Didn't you say you was in the conference
pretty
building?
much. I came out a couple of times, but I was in there selling books, and we
didn't stay there very long. We was on our way to go camping anyway, so we didn't stay very long.
Yeah. I would like to get out and do it. Man, I sold a ton of books there last year. That really surprised me. I mean, pleasantly surprised me. It made it worth my they had asked me the year before if I'd be interested in it, and I said no, not really. I'd never done any conference stuff. And then
now you know. Now you start making some money.
I mean, they pay you a little bit to come and talk, but that it's not enough to really tempt me to drive that far to it. But he said, but yeah, and you sell your books too, and that's I sold a lot of books. Pyro was there. He helped me carry my boxes of books into there. But yeah, I'd like to roam around more. I went out a little bit, but not a whole lot. They put us up in a cabin in the Neshoba, and it was me and Shelley Covington, Montana. She was in the cabin. Pete Buffalo Head and his wife. Lady, I don't know her full name, just was by Henry. It was a friend of Shelley's, and it was a good time. We got to visit and all that stuff. Saw something I never saw before outside that cabin at the edge of the woods. You hear both. Oh, thanks, Sharon. I appreciate that a lot. But you hear people seeing orbs, right? Oh, can you hear that?
I can't hear it.
That's a horned owl hooting. And I wish I had a better microphone on the phone. Yeah, he's really, really calling out. Okay, I wish you could hear that. An owl can make a sound that almost sounds like a chimp, like like that. There's one answering the hooting back there with that noise. And I've heard that sound people mistake for a Bigfoot before.
Hey, Flat Rock.
Oh, hey, Flat Rock. Yeah, you need to write a no BS book on Bigfoot.
No, I'll stick to the video thing. Now, my wife could write one. She's a good writer, but
well, yeah, she could be your ghost writer. But anyway, I'll tell you this. Some people see things and they're not lying about it. It's just their perception of what they think they're seeing or are seeing. Like these so-called orbs, okay? There are these lights floating at the kind of the edge of the woods from the cabin at night. Pete Buffalo Head, one of the other speakers at Honubby, was there. I said, Pete, you see those? He said, yeah. So I was like, of course, me, analytical, boring me, I'm like thinking, well, it's a dry summer. What kind of electrical phenomenon, static electricity or whatever is that? That's really cool. Hey, Bigfoot Okanagan, there's Leon all the way.
Hey,
he's really in British Columbia, Joe.
Me too, Leon. I'll be able to see him in a little while.
But anyway, what he said, I started walking down there. Of course, we both walk a pretty good ways, and they're just kind of floating around out there. And I'm thinking atmospheric phenomenon, still doing. Pete warned me. He said, David, don't follow those into the woods. And I said, why? He goes, those are the little people. They'll lead you off and get you lost. Okay, two different perceptions. We're both seeing the same thing. So, and I think that can be the same thing on like different calls people hear. You know, you have different perceptions of it. And Pete, he was dead serious. You know, he says, don't follow those into the woods. Of course, I attempted to, but they just kind of faded out, you know. But Chris Kimball said, in Seminole folklore, great horned owl is a harbinger of death. Chris, I'm in the woods by myself. Stop saying that. but no, on a serious note, Chris, my grandfather, he's passed away now. He'd be well over 100 years old if he's still alive. But he was born and raised in a little bitty town called Sasakwa, Oklahoma. And he was like, I think he was a quarter Cherokee. And his father believed the same thing about an owl. They believed that if an owl landed outside your house and was calling out at night, they were signaling that there was going to be a death in the family. And he'd tell me, he said, if that happened, he said his dad would make him go outside and chase it off. And he said, boy, it sure did scare me when I'd go out there and have to, scare the owl off. Yeah. Thanks, Chris. Chris said, so Dave, it's been good to know you.
Didn't Michael Martin Murphy sing a song like that, Wildfire, about the owl?
But I don't know. There's a lot of them telling me to leave or something because they've been, I wish the mic on these phones were better. Oh, yeah, Pyromedic said mating season. Heard them talking last night. Well, one of them was doing a real pretty whoo, whoo, whoo over there, and what it was getting answered didn't sound like none too happy. It was that angry monkey sound that those owls can make, unless it really is an angry monkey, which I don't think it is.
It could be a Bigfoot mimicking.
Could be, but the only way we'd know that is if we saw the Bigfoot mimicking it. But at the same time, I'm a firm believer in documenting things you see or hear that's is interesting. Chris said, I just came back from a party with my Seminole friends in the Everglades. So that sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Yeah. So, Lady in the Woods, Joe, when are you coming back up this way?
She's up in southeast Oklahoma, ain't she? Right? Ain't she southeast Oklahoma?
Yeah, she's not terribly far from me, I don't think.
I don't know. I want to get back up there, but like I say, I'm saving my money to go up into some mountain areas. My next big trip. But I will be back up.
You talking about mountain areas in Oklahoma or like Colorado type mountain areas?
Smoky Mountains.
Oh, okay.
I got everybody knows Spencer Jameson, I think, right? You know Spencer Jameson?
No, I don't think so.
I think he's up in Vermont or something like that. And I was talking to him when you messaged me earlier. I was talking to him on the phone when you messaged me. And,
okay.
So we've been talking about, I've been going up there somewhere and me and him getting together. And he says, I think it's Vermont. I think he lives in Vermont. Or is it Virginia? Virginia, maybe. Anyway, he says he lives there and he hadn't seen the mountains either. He wants to go up in the mountains too. So,
no, yeah,
maybe I can get with him. And he's good friends with Mark Noble and Larry and Shelley.
Okay, yeah, I know who that is. Hey, I got a couple of guys on here that are, I think, trying to run me out of the woods or something. One of them telling me, Chris, all about the owl and their harbinger of death. And Pyromedic says, Cherokee lore said if the owl says your name, you die. What if you kill the owl first that said your name?
Yeah, Flat Rock, Virginia.
Miss D, did you hear any of the stuff behind me, or you heard the legend? Pyromedic said Johnny Two Bears has the best video of lights that I've seen. I haven't seen that. And Pyro showed me video on his phone that he had of some orbs, and I can't remember if that was Pyro. Was that video you took, or was that somebody else's? And that was at Honubby when he showed me that.
Like that one picture, I think you've seen it. That has that brown orb in it. I don't know if it's an orb or not, but something brown that the trail cam picked up. Nobody
Johnny
seems to know
Two Bears. I'd check that out. Yeah, D. There's all kinds of owls and stuff. There's a crow called out behind me back over there, but the owls that while we're hearing were actually behind the phone, so I don't guess that picked that up. But yeah, we just had a better mic on it. Earlier, I was out here sitting around just listening, and a hummingbird kept coming up and buzzing around my head. So I thought it was the world's biggest bee there for a second.
I love them hummingbirds. I got a bunch of feeders out here, and they just buzz right by you. And
I had a can of Pepsi open there. It might have sensed the sugar in that Pepsi. Yeah, man, D, you got good ears. She said it sounded like an owl. So, but yeah, I'm a long ways from anybody's house down here. This is a pretty isolated area. If you went back, 100 years, there was, if you go about 3/4 of a mile north of me in this valley, there's an old well there where there was a house at one time. Now I can take you here, Cowboy. I can take you into the woods, and I can show you the remains of old moonshine stills. Not wood or anything, but you can see where they. And the only way I know what it is my dad had took me back to show me. They had just dug out this bank and made a hollowed out area where they had put the still and stuff back during Prohibition and all that. No, D, go ahead.
You didn't sample any of that moonshine, did you?
No, it was just the remains of where they dug out. I need to go there with like a metal detector and see if there's anything under the ground, I didn't know there was an earthquake today. I didn't feel it anyhow.
Where, in Oklahoma?
Oh, we have them up here. I tell you, here a few years ago when they were doing a lot of drilling and they were fracking.
Yeah.
When they were doing that fracking, there were earthquakes constantly.
There's been a few down here, but I've never felt nothing. And people say that they felt them, but I never felt anything.
Okay, so Pyromedic here is putting me into this no-win situation. If an owl calls your name, you die, but it's also bad luck to kill an owl. And we lost Cowboy there.
No, I just turned my.
Oh, okay. Did you hear what I said there, Cowboy?
Yes.
So Pyro, what are you supposed to do about the owls?
Kill or be killed. Kill or be killed.
Sounds like
right?
you're screwed up one way or the other. Okay. Personally, I'm not very superstitious. I guess everybody's superstitious about something, though, if you get down deep about it. But superstitions involving animals have never been a thing of mine. I always thought that the mouse gets the worst of the bad luck from an owl. I have seen one time I was driving home on a dirt road. A mouse ran across the road in front of me. I was going slow, and an owl swooped and caught that mouse just right in my headlights. I thought that was the coolest thing. Flat Rock said, I didn't feel no quake here, but darn sure got shaken by a copperhead 3 inches from my hand an hour ago.
Woo!
Wow. Yeah, I'm really surprised I've not seen a copperhead down here, because they are where I'm at. There's a lot of them, and I brought my snake catcher and stuff like that. I was wanting to make a video about the copperhead, another copperhead for my outdoor channel, but I haven't come across one today.
I wasn't superstitious about black cats until I ran one over one day and had a flat tire after I ran over it.
Oh.
No.
Mr. Lee said, I cross my fingers every time I walk under a ladder. And Pyro answered, I asked him about the orbs. He said, that was mine. Those were his orbs, I guess, on his phone. He said, I have a new self-illuminated ball that looks like glowing plasma. Shelly, Montana, when we were all the speakers staying in that cabin there at Neshoba, which is real close to Honubby, she showed me some pictures of these red balls that she wasn't the one that took them, but somebody else did, and she had the pictures. And they were taken in the Cascades, and she said they were big, and they were a red plasma-looking balls on that. She was showing me pictures of that. Lady D, Miss D said, I had my phone propped and it fell. Thought someone slammed my door. So anybody else got any superstitions they want to share about anything? Yeah, D, you said that's the first earthquake you've ever felt? Back about 10 years ago when they were doing a lot of fracking, especially near me. I was home on a summer day, and I thought a truck went by my house really fast. I mean, it literally, that's what it sounded like. Like the effect when something's far away, gets closer, and then recedes. What do you call that? Is that the Doppler effect? But it was like that. And I looked outside. There was no truck had gone by, no dust on the road. And then later that evening, heard about it being a good size earthquake there, and it actually shook stuff in my house. Okay, Amon Chris, I've actually heard that. Have you heard that one, Cowboy? Don't
Yes,
close a pocket knife you didn't open.
I've always heard that.
Fortissimo Fots, that's a new person to our chat there. Welcome. Said, I knock on wood to not jinx whatever the conversation is about. Kansas Squatch, no hat on the bed.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah, now the pocket knife thing, I'd never heard about it until I handed it back wrong to an older fellow, and he's like, no. And I'm like, what? What's this? You know?
Speaking of earthquakes, I used to drive a big truck over the road, and I was in San Francisco, and I had to spend the night there. Next day, I got unloaded and I left. And about the day after I left is when that big earthquake hit San Francisco, and the Golden Gate Bridge, part of it collapsed. So I made it out of there at the time.
Man,
I would have freaked out if I was sitting there, because I was in a bad neighborhood too. There was people gunshots all night long. This was, I don't know, 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
I thought San Francisco was a bad neighborhood.
Period. But back when I was going there, it's a heck of a lot nicer than what I see now. But still, there was gunshots going off all night, and I was in my sleeper, and I'm like, somebody's going to come up here and try to rob me. But nothing like that happened. But like I say, the earthquake happened the day after I left.
Well, it's a little town that I grew up in here. You saw bridges falling. I grew up in a little town called Calvin, not far from here. And in 1976, the newer bridge that they had built fell in Calvin. It collapsed. It killed several people. And our house kind of is at the top of the hill. And I mean, the river's a good 2 or 3 miles away, but you can see down in the valley, and you see that sand, plumes of it come up in the air when that bridge fell. I was a little kid, and I was out playing in the yard when that happened. And yeah, there were people died there. No shoes on the table. Well, Mr. Lee, that's just bad manners anyway. Don't open umbrella indoors. What else we got here? Well, Kansas Squatch said no hat on the bed. Mr. Lee said that brings death. Yeah. I just didn't. I'd heard don't walk under a ladder, but I always thought that was just good sense in case somebody has something on it that falls off on your head or something. I have broken every superstition that I can think of.
I think I have to.
Wow, Lady in the Woods said, I just left Muskogee the day before the I-40 bridge collapsed.
Oh, wow.
I was doing some diving classes during that time or shortly after that, and one of my dive instructors, I was taking the classes for rescue diver, and one of my instructors actually was one of the divers that helped recover bodies out of that river. And with that flowing water,
I don't think I'd want to do that.
Well, especially that, it's dangerous because what you would have to do on a situation like that, of course, that water is flowing swiftly. There's debris coming down it. You can't see. It's muddy water. So what they would do, the diver would be attached by a rope to somebody in a boat. Okay, he would release so many foot, and that diver would make a sweep left to right, and then he release a few more feet left to right. And he told me, he said there was how he found one of the bodies is it was snagged on something, and the body's hand come up against his face.
Oh no!
Underwater. He said that's how he found one of them. But yeah, that was
I'd be out of there.
Well, did you see what happened here in Oklahoma? I think it was yesterday or the day before. He survived, but there was a rock and roll band from Tulsa. They were driving across country in their tour van, and the side window on I-40 exploded, and a couple of the others were able to get. They thought somebody had shot at them. What it was a chain link that the only thing they can figure is it was on a load of a semi, and it broke, and it lodged in that guy's neck.
Oh, wow.
And he lost 2 liters of blood, but he survived.
Oh, God.
I mean, you talk about a freak accident now.
I'll tell you, that's weird there.
Yeah, I wish y'all could hear it. I've got whippoorwills going over here now. Now, hey, somebody tell me this. And I've heard before in some superstition that if whippoorwills also signify death or something, or if they're gathering around the house of a person that's about to die, that they gather around to try to catch the spirit or something. I might have been from a scary story I read or something, but I'm not sure. Yeah, Gene, no kidding. Angel's working overtime for that, man. I tell you, that could have killed everybody in the. One of the band members was talking. He said we should all be dead because somebody in the back reached around him and grabbed the steering wheel, and somebody else got his foot off the gas and was able to, not get killed. Littlefoot's grandma, welcome. That's a new person to the chat. I'm not superstitious. I'm just a little stitious. Michael Scott, the office. Okay, Mr. Lee. Now, Mr. Lee, you're from
the UK.
UK. Okay. A whippoorwill is a bird. It's a night bird, and they come out closer to dark, which it's dusk right now, and the call they make sounds like they're saying whippoorwill, whippoorwill, and that's what they do.
I think it's a very pleasant sound too.
Oh, I love it. I can sit out and go to sleep listening to them.
It's
I
relaxing.
hope that's what puts me to sleep tonight, and not a Sasquatch
And then
dragging
the
me
owl.
out of the bed of the pickup.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Lee, England.
Okay, now is it England or is it the UK? Because somebody else I talked to got mad when I said England and reminded me it was the UK.
I want to know, Mr. Lee, why I got you here. What happened to the video? I want to know, man. You said you're going to give me a video. The English Bigfoot report.
Oh yeah, Mr. Lee. No, they're not. They're not a black bird. If you see them, they're kind of a mottled brown color, and they got these little like whisker things up on each side of their beak, and I guess that's something for helping them locate insects or something at night when they fly around. Okay, Chris Kimball said whippoorwill is the same family as nighthawk and chuckwill's widow. So, a paramedic said a tournament fisherman shot a flare up over the bridge and got a trucker to stop just in time. He kept dozens more from dying. Wow. Chris Kimball said about the whippoorwill, they are squarish birds. Mr. Lee is telling you to be patient.
How long's it been, Mr. Lee?
Yeah, Chris, I'm like Joe said. I love to sit out and I love to sit out at night and just listen to those whippoorwills. And if you drive up on them on a dirt road at night, you can see their eyes glowing.
Yeah.
Out there. When they take off, to me, it reminds me, you remember those little round fireworks that you used to light and they'd spin and shoot up in the air? Yeah. Whippoorwills kind of remind me of those little fireworks, but
whippoorwills and owls at night, it just seems like it's just so relaxing. Everything's cool. Everything's calm. Everything's good. It's when you don't hear them, when you start worrying.
Funniest thing involving an owl is Cornell, my friend from Massachusetts that has the No Such Thing podcast. He flew down. It's been a couple of years now, and we went way back in the Kiamichi Mountains and got to this place way back in there, got out, and Cornell, he's standing there at the edge of the woods just kind of looking, and this owl lets out this powerful scream, just wow, just right there. And Cornell, he didn't move. He just looked over his shoulder. He goes, "What the hell was that?" And you've heard Cornell, haven't you? He's got that real Irish accent. And that was hilarious. He didn't move, or he just turned his head, looked over his shoulder at me, and said, "What the hell was that?" So
I get out here on my front porch when we get the owls out there, and I see if I can make them mad. You can make them mad when they start barking at you. I call them in from all over the place, and they'll be out here barking at one another, and I'll just sit there and just sit there and back, and they'll be hollering at each other back and forth, and I love it.
But it's starting to. Of course, it's not that late. It's 8. Well, no, it's 8:30. Wow. It's starting to get darker down here now, so they ought to really start calling out here pretty quick. But I can call them up, that hooting at them and stuff, and they'll come flying in. It's really neat on a moonlit night to be out here mouthing off back at those owls and see a big great horned owl fly in and land in a tree close to you. Those things are huge. Yeah, I just love it.
What scares the crap out of me is right on my front porch. I got a big old tree limb up there, and in the mornings or late at night, sometimes I'll walk out and there'll be an owl up there, and I scare them, and they jump out. And they go down. Puts me right back in the house real quick, because you're not expecting a big old bird, with a 6-foot wingspan to jump out of the tree, or 4-foot wingspan. But
they're just massive birds. Chris Kimball says, "I tell people not to worry. I've been camping since 1967 and nothing has eaten me yet." Chris, I was born in 1967. And yeah, and I have said, I'd have people all the time ask me, what are you worried about in the woods? The only monsters in the woods is the occasional bad person that comes out in the woods. In my view, everything else is a part of nature, and to just, respect it and whatnot. And so, are you worried about Bigfoot? Well, no, I'm not. And what I always say is, if Bigfoot is out to get us, he's not very good at it.
Really? He got chances every night.
Yeah, I mean, and really, and you may know a different story, Joe, but from what I've come up with, all of the stories of Sasquatch attacking people that I consider credible were preceded by somebody either shooting at or shooting one of them. Now, if somebody was shooting at me, I'd have a pretty bad attitude too. So I don't think that.
I got this like a bear too, a bear with cubs. What if there's some juveniles around or something like that, and you're coming up on them? I can see something like a Bigfoot or Sasquatch, getting offensive about that, trying to protect the young or something
well,
like that.
I think people need to realize there's a difference in aggression and defensiveness.
Right.
If you shoot something and it throws a big rock at you, that's not aggression. That's defensiveness.
Right.
Bigfoot Okanagan says, glad you guys bring the down home feeling back to the online scene. Well, thank you.
I got to get up there and meet Leon one of these days.
I'd like that. That'd be pretty neat. Eugene Ellison says, maybe we taste terrible to them. I know clowns taste funny. I'm not going to ask you how you know that. Okay. Yeah, Crystal Jason, I'm more worried about being a snack for a bear or a mountain lion.
Where I'm at, I'm more scared of the hogs.
Yeah, it's the same here. Just a couple of 100 yards from where I'm sitting, we got a field over here. Wild pigs destroyed that field. We had to have a dozer come in and flatten it back up where they'd made wallers out of it. Just terrible. I was mushroom hunting at the edge of that. I hunt for morel mushrooms down here. And mother wild pig and a bunch of piglets, I didn't even realize they were there till they were right on me. I was in the deep woods and they were running straight at me, and I barely had time to pull my pistol. But as soon as they saw me, they were just like a school of fish. They turned and went the other direction. Man, you talk about my heart skipping a beat, because that's when the pigs are the most dangerous, when they got little ones with them like that. But luckily they went the other way. David Perkins said, I'm scared of the crackheads. Yeah, I've actually in the Kiamichi Mountains had 3 of them pull up in a pickup when I was solo camping down there. And they were just sitting there staring. They were sizing me up, is what they were doing. And from where I was sitting, they couldn't see I was armed. And when I stood up, they saw that I was, and they turned and left. But
that's what bothers me about sometimes when I go out camping, not camping, but out in the woods and have to park my truck somewhere. I always worry. Nowadays, you have to worry about some crackhead come along there and say, hey, man, I'm going to break in this guy's truck and see what he's got in there. And then you come back and all your windows are busted out in your truck. And it's hard to relax when you're walking out in the woods thinking about your truck being wrecked,
Yeah, it sure is.
It's really bad nowadays.
Littlefoot's grandma was born in 67 as well. Hey, I was born in 67. We're not old enough to be grandparents. I got one grandbaby, though. She's a cutie. Mr. Lee has really busting your chops tonight, cowboy. Says your mustache going to scare off that mother hog. Don't worry, man.
I'm gonna try and make a girl look like Wilford Brumley. Remember Wilford?
Hey,
Brumley?
There you go. That's a legend there.
That was a legend mustache, man. It was like a walrus.
Hey, this would get my attention, Joe. Chris Kimball said, I've had a Florida panther snarl at me from a few feet away at 4 a.m.
Woo.
Can y'all hear that chattering over here?
I hear something. I can't make it out though.
It's a bird, but I can't identify it. I've got a tree frog back over this way.
I was up at the Three Rivers Wildlife Management Area years ago, well, about 4 years ago, and Kenny's with me, and we went up on the side of a mountain, I guess you call it, and it all been cleared out, and I walked down the logging road a little ways, and I heard what sounded like a cat, which I'm thinking it was a bobcat, maybe 10, 20 feet away from me, do that little growl they make,
Uh-huh.
I walked back to the truck real slow. I need a handlebar most days.
I tell you, a red fox, when they let that scream out, that can be pretty nerve-wracking if you don't know what you're hearing. I remember, and this has been about about 5 or 6 years ago. My friend Brian Baker, I had him on here one time before. He and I go out Bigfooting or whatever you want to call it once in a while. And we were hearing something. It was in the Kiamichi Mountains at a distance, and it was this screaming. And we're like, what is that? It was so far away we couldn't really tell, but it was really had our attention. But then it got closer, and we were able to identify it as a fox.
Right.
I'm telling you, if somebody had never heard a fox before, you hear about Bigfoot screaming and stuff. Yeah, somebody might have been. But
I hear a lot of people say it sounds like a woman screaming. And they think it's a Bigfoot doing that. Well,
right.
A fox makes it sound kind of like that too.
Yeah, D. I'm gonna when we get through the show, I'm gonna listen to that catbird sound. I appreciate you sending me that. I've probably heard it before, but I just am not identifying the name of the bird.
Yeah, if it's native to down here, I'm sure I've heard it, but I just don't know if I've heard that name before.
Yeah, I've probably have. I'm listening to birds around me too. I really wish there was a mic I could hook to this phone for out here like this, that y'all could hear what I'm hearing. And I'm looking over my shoulder once in a while. If y'all see something walk up behind me, tell me.
I'll tap on the screen.
And I'll tell you what, Cowboy, if you'll tell me if something's walking up behind me, I'll tell, if I see something behind you, I'll let you know. D said it sounds like a cat meow.
A cat meow.
Hey, Mr. Lee. And Mr. Lee said, I heard my stomach grumble one time, scared the bejesus out of me. No lie. I used to have a Chihuahua that one time his stomach growled and he went into a barking fit. I thought that was the craziest thing I ever saw.
I'm going to let my dog out right quick.
All righty. David Perkins, we heard a fox this last year. Really freaky sound to hear when you're not expecting. Yeah, it sure is, especially if it's close. And they can let out a scream. Matter of fact, like I said earlier, I think you were here. People once in a while will send me sounds that they've recorded that they are think might be a Bigfoot, and most of the time, the top two is a coyote and a fox that they send me. However, but the sound's pretty distant, so I'm not going to say for sure. But a young man by Wister Lake down there in the Kiamichi Mountains had recorded something off in the distance, and I don't know what that was, and I've got that on a file somewhere. It's far enough away, it's impossible for me to really tell, but it didn't sound like anything that I've heard before. That doesn't mean it's Bigfoot, but it appeared pretty curious.
Flat Rock's right. When it gets quiet out there, no sounds at all, that's when it gets creepy. As long as I hear birds and everything, I'm all right.
Fortissimo fauts. Yeah, no sounds at all in the woods is spooky. Yeah, I know what you mean. When here a couple of winters ago, when Cornell come down, and he and my son were camping down the Kiamichis. We were walking through these creek bottoms, and man, it went silent like nothing. I mean, like you hear Cornell was saying silent like a tomb, you know, and it was it puts you on alert when you can't hear anything. When everything's calling around you, all the birds, the stuff like that, it's like everybody's happy. Nothing to worry about here, you know.
Well, like when we heard those tree knocks when we was up there, up above Tallahena there, you know, we were hearing birds and the coyotes, and then we heard that scream, and then heard more coyotes, and then we heard the 10 tree knocks, and then after that, man, it didn't seem like we heard a cricket the rest of the night.
It was silent.
Yeah, until I'm not sure what time it was, because usually we don't watch the time when we're out there in the woods. You know, we don't pay attention to that. But we stayed up until the sun started coming up and never heard anything else that night. Birds, nothing. The rest of the night.
Wow.
And we sit there by the fire with our pistols. Like, I don't know what the heck that was, but we're going to be ready if it comes out. Which, you know, when I think about it, I don't think it was anything meant to threaten us or anything like that. It wasn't threatening. I just think it's like, hey, man, what the heck y'all doing down there? You know, I'm here.
Well, I had here years ago down there close to Honubby, there was a gentleman lived in a cabin in the woods there, and he was talking about these calls going around his house, and he told me, he said it might be a bird no more than 3 or 4 inches tall, but he said I've never heard anything like it. And he had all kinds of dogs around his house. I said, how do the dogs act? He said, that's another thing. He said, they hide under the porch when it starts doing those calls. And he said, I've watched these dogs chase a black bear out of this yard. But he said, when these, whatever that is, they start calling out in the woods, and he'd hear more than one. He said, when those calls start, he said, they go under the porch and don't come out.
Wow, that's cool.
So dogs that will chase a bear out of the yard, but these sounds make them huddle under the porch. There's something about, historically even, that Bigfoot and dogs don't seem to like each other. You know?
Yeah.
So,
we
we got here. Paramedic says, only if you promise to give the look like in your Dogman video. Oh, I guess you're talking about that joke video I made. Did you see that, Cowboy?
I don't think so.
Yeah. All right. My video I did the other night where I talk about the native girl that was abducted up in British Columbia and impregnated by the Bigfoot back in the 1800s.
Yeah. I know you're talking about.
Before that, I made a short on how to call a Sasquatch and how to call a Dogman. And the Sasquatch, I get a stick. I said, how to call a Sasquatch. And I hit it on the tree. Then I go, how to call a Dogman. And I've got a bag of dog treats. And I pick it up and I start hitting it and going. Anyway, and you know that I put that up, and within a few hours, it had like 2,000 views on that.
Wow.
You know? And what was funny though is all in good fun. Somebody sent me a message that thought that I was being serious, and I'm like, they said, you're never going to attract a Bigfoot with such a puny stick as that. And you're certainly not going to get a Dogman. I'm like, you do realize that was a joke video, right?
Joke.
It's like, I've got that mosquito candle behind me because I'm thinking I can see in front of me if a copperhead's crawling up, and maybe with that candle burning behind me, it won't crawl up I've had them crawl right between my feet in these lawn chairs down here before. Um, in fact, I don't know if you watched last summer, me and my son were down in this valley camping, and he was wearing at first like hiking sandals. I said, Elijah, you need boots on. I've got other
I
boots.
think
He
I
goes, oh,
remember
it's hiking
watching
sandals.
that one.
We're down there a little bit, and he goes, oh, Dad, there's a copperhead in camp. And it was a small one. And he put some boots on when he saw that, you know. And I didn't kill it. I just kind of got a stick and nudged it out of
I
camp.
think I watched that one.
Pyromedic said Dave has heard an interesting sound. He has heard that he doesn't know what it was. Are you talking about me, Pyro? Or a different Dave?
You want to hear some interesting sounds, man? You need to get with Flat Rock.
Flat Rock?
Man, that guy's got some stuff.
Yeah.
Give you the
Chris Kimball, he's got it. He's got it. Dogman comes when it hears a can opener. Hey, I used to have a little dog that you could not open a bag of beef jerky quiet enough. It would just, you'd see those ears stick up, you know, just the sound of that plastic, those ears would perk up like that because then give you that look like they're starving to death, you know.
A bag of chips, mine comes running. He's like, what?
Yeah. But yeah, I don't have a dog at the moment. I've got an outside cat that takes care of mice, and that's about it.
Yeah, my daughter's got 3 cats, and they keep the snakes away, so I let them stay.
My cat is terrified of snakes, but she's too curious about them to just leave them alone. Like I was walking across the yard one day, and there was a big rat snake stretched out there, and the cat was following me, and I just reached down and grabbed that rat snake and tossed it back toward the cat, and that cat sprung about 10 foot straight back, but then she starts creeping up closer to it, you know. Flat Rock's asking Mr. Lee, do you have Messenger?
I don't think he does. I've been messaging him by now. I just email him a lot.
So, well, it's actually dark here now. And nothing's sneaking up on me yet. I'm feeling kind of left out.
So you got you an air mattress for the truck, huh?
Yeah. I haven't even blown it up yet.
You got you an air pump to pump it up with?
Trying to think if
those things kind of hard. Those things kind of hard.
I remembered. Hey, if I forgot the air pump, I'm sleeping in the pickup with the seat back. I'm not going to try to.
I've done that though. I've done that.
Man, it takes forever to blow one of those. I won't even start to blow up one of those air mattresses manually. You know what? A lot of people don't realize is how bright and cheerful the woods are in the daytime and how pitch black they are at night. You know?
Yes.
And it's not completely dark. There's still some light in the sky, but the woods are dark. I certainly wouldn't go walking back into the woods right now without a flashlight.
It looks the same here as it does at your place. I'm looking at my front window here.
Oh yeah.
It's about the same.
See if I'm looking out into the woods, you can't see anything except just the shapes of trees. But you look up, you see but you know, down in this valley here, it gets dark a little bit quicker than up on the ridge. But yeah, I'm facing the west where I'm at. Man, the whippoorwills are really sounding off. Dee said, Sharon Guy says, Dave, it will sneak up on you as soon as you end the live. Well, I'm not ending then.
We're gonna go all night.
I'll start sending links out to everybody else just to keep a guest on here when Cowboy gets tired of it. But anyway,
I was supposed to get off here at 8:30, but who cares?
yeah. Hey, this has been
I'm
kind of
having
a fun.
I'm having
This has
fun.
been a fun visit.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. That's why I'm still here. I gotta go pick up
Mr.
my daughter
Lee,
from work in a little bit.
Mr. Lee 3PO air mattress. Oh my God, so squeaky, rubbish. Yep, he's from
It's got the
England,
wrong
all
kind
right.
of
He
air
calls it rubbish.
Rubbish.
So,
It's got the wrong kind of air mattress. I put my air mattress down. I put my sleeping bag over it. No problem.
yeah, trying to see if I missed anything here. Crystal J, I love waking up in the morning, listening to hundreds of birds singing. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah, I do too. Fortissimo thoughts. What gear do you keep nearby your mattress? Well, I keep my phone handy in case I hear something I want to record quick, because I can get it, turned on and activated quicker than I can my GoPro. But what I've got with me tonight, I've got a Canon camcorder with a nice microphone attached to it, and I've got a GoPro Hero 9 Black. I've got a Hero 7 Black GoPro, and of course my phone. Is that a Canon there?
Yeah, it's Canon.
That's the same one I've got.
I love
think. What is it, like an R?
The Vixia HF. I can't
300. Is it a 300?
R800.
Okay. Well, yours is nicer than mine. Mine's not an 800.
And I got this fisheye lens on it. Gives you the wide angle on it.
What's the price on that camera?
Well, I got this from a pawn shop, believe it or not, and I paid $125 for the camera.
Would you say that's an 800?
Yes.
Trying to remember what mine is. Mine looks like that, but there's like 2 or 3 different models that kind of look the same, but
it's got
they're pretty good little cameras. I do most of my stuff. That may be a little. Does that have night vision?
No.
Okay. Yeah, that's you buy the cheap $120 Amazon camera and they have night vision in them.
Yeah.
I don't know why they don't. Yeah, but the only problem is they go through batteries really fast.
And I've got this one.
Mr. Lee 3PO. David, are you scared now? Don't lie. No, I'm not. Mr. Lee, I would be more afraid on a park bench in the middle of the city than I am out here in the woods. And that's no exact. And I think Cowboy probably agree with me on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is it. That's the only thing. I sleep out in the open. I don't like it when a spider comes down on a web, like on my face when I'm trying to sleep. I mean, I know those kind that do that are not they're not dangerous. They're just those orb web spiders, but they still kind of give you the creeps.
I hate finding a tick on me, because the rest of the day, the rest of the night, I'll feel stuff crawling on me for the rest of the night.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. Now you see behind me in the woods there. Is there anything behind me? I don't think so. But there is something moving in the woods over there.
Oh, Mr. Lee. Why are you giving me a hard time, Mr. Lee?
There really is something in the woods over there. As soon as I shined the light over there, it took off.
What, did it sound big?
Well, no, not really, but it.
And that's another thing. Armadillos at night sound like a damn elephant walking through the woods.
Yeah, this is not an armadillo. This was
I'm
snapping
just saying.
twigs.
I'm just saying that people, armadillos out there walking around, they think it's 1,000-pound bipedal creature walking around.
Oh yeah, yeah. And these leaves behind me. When I got here today, you can see where armadillo's been rooting in them. But this over here was snapping twigs as it took off. Could be a deer, or I mean, lots of stuff in the woods at night.
David, can you block Mr. Lee?
Can I block him? Hey, we gotta be nice to our international friends here. Yeah, D, you have a good night. Yeah, David Perkins says let me see here. Seems nice and quiet out tonight. Another month or more, and the tree frogs will be deafening around my part of Oklahoma. David, I've heard a few tree frogs tonight, but not a lot. What happened here? Yeah, D said I don't care about the movement as much as the footfall. But yeah, I startled something with my flashlight because when I turned the light on, it moved back into the woods.
Bigfoot sitting there wondering what you're doing out there. He goes,
Can you
"Who's he
hear the
talking to?"
whippoorwill?
I can barely hear something. I can't.
That whippoorwill's working overtime over to the west of me there.
That Bigfoot sitting out there wondering who in the world you're talking to.
Yeah. I tell you, when we were working on that documentary Bigfootville, the last stop on there was at a Seminole tribal elder over by Wewoka, and it was nighttime, and one of the camera guys took his night vision camera and he went over to a cedar tree and he set the camera on a low branch, and he was talking to the camera, and I wasn't over there by him. We were over there where they were filming, and this little boy walked over. He didn't see the camera. He walked over to us and he said, "Hey, there's a white guy over there talking to a tree." Because all he saw, and this guy's from England too. His name was Martin, the cameraman, and he was crouched down, and he'd put that camera there. So all this little boy saw was this guy crouched down there talking to a tree, and it was dark,
I
And
remember.
if you watch Bigfootville, there's that part where a guy's just talking about what we'd been doing into the camera, and it's night vision.
Everything's green. I
That.
remember.
Whatever that was that moved over here, it's now over in the woods over to the northwest of me a little bit. Hope it's nothing that's hungry for me.
Have you been cooking?
Yeah, I
mean,
made myself. Hey, I cooked myself a hamburger before we started this.
Well, maybe they're smelling that hamburger.
Yeah. The thing is, when it's a dense forest like this, when you shine a flashlight on it, all you get's the closest stuff to you.
Right. You can't see 2 or 3 feet past the tree line.
But there's no cows here. All of our cows are up the ridge and out of here. I'll
be right back.
Hope y'all can hear those whippoorwills behind me. Oh, hey, Dale, how you doing? Yeah, thanks, Eugene. Dave Nugget or Dave Burger.
My dog knocking on the door.
Ah. Yeah, this is the longest I've went on it out out in the field like this. Went down in the Kiamichis where we go. I can't do this because I don't get any cell phone signal at all. But fortunately, where I'm at in this valley, on a ridge about 2 miles from here, there's a cell phone tower. So it lets me get signal down here where I can do this. You can hear the whippoorwill, can't you?
Man, I must be deaf.
Can y'all in the chat hear the whippoorwill?
I hear. I want to get up close to the screen so I can hear.
You know, it would be funny if I'm sitting here talking about what's out there and it actually was a Sasquatch.
It'd be very interesting.
Well, it would be interesting if it would show itself.
You're on your phone right now, right?
Yeah.
Well, you got like a tripod holding it up or something?
Yeah. I put it on a tripod because if it's stationary, the video quality is pretty good. But when I would go walking, it would start kind of cluttering up. I went back and watched what I had filmed earlier, and I can tell because if I could get good enough signal, I'd be walking down this trail with it.
Well, David, I'm gonna have to get off there, man.
All right, well, man, thanks for coming on.
I gotta go pick up the daughter from work.
All right, well, hey, thanks for coming on, man. Enjoyed the visit.
Hey, I did too, man. This was fun. I wish I could stay
All right,
longer.
we'll have to do it again sometime. Holler at me next time you come to Oklahoma.
If you're still on here by the time I get back, I'll come back on.
Yeah, I've got 62% left on my battery. I got a new phone, so the battery's actually lasting pretty good. I've been on here an hour and a half.
I'm about to say that's pretty good.
Yeah. Sharon Guy, Dave, does it sound bipedal? What you hear walking or on four legs? I can't tell, Sharon. It's just something moving further back into the brush. It's probably, if I'm guessing, 50, 60 foot inside the trees from me, probably.
Mr. Lee, I'm not going to find Bigfoot Sasquatch sitting here. I need to be out there where Dave is. That way.
Well, and you don't find them. From everything I hear, they find you.
Yeah, but they're not going to find me sitting here in this house. All right, David, man.
Hope you have a great night, man. It's good visiting.
Hope you have an exciting night. Keep your camera rolling.
Yeah, we're gonna try it.
Bye, everybody.
Well, now I'm the only voice on here. Now it feels lonely out here. So anyway, got a lot of night birds going on around me. I've got owls off to the west, and I've got a whippoorwill right behind me. Can you guys hear the whippoorwill and the crickets going on? I wish I could, Amon. That'd make a pretty good interview. My campfire's completely out. No rain tonight. Right before dark, it was clouding up like it was going to, but it's seemed to have blew over. Miss D that was on here earlier had been watching the radar, and she said it looked like it was going to blow on over, and it did. And she's like 60 miles east of me. So anyway, so well, whatever moved off earlier did not come back. It doesn't seem like. As soon as I shined my light into the woods, that's when I heard it move away. CP Pate in Southwest Oklahoma. No, I'm in kind of southeast Oklahoma. I'm in southern Hughes County, right on the very close to the Cole County border. Yeah, Chris, I wish you could hear it. I've got a tree frog off that direction, and I got a whippoorwill really carrying on behind me. And just heard something step in the woods behind me that didn't sound real big. Now that, on the other hand, let me get my other glasses on. Usually, if it's a deer that is in the woods, if you shine the light on them, you'll get eye shine. I'm not getting any eye shine. So whatever's moving into the woods, it's either not a deer or it's too close to the ground that it's being hid. Uh, Chris Kimball, when I lived in Everglades, summer night noise was deafening. Yeah, it sure is. And pink waving, Debbie Do. Oh yeah, is that what Hank Williams was singing about? Sharon, Guy, Dave, if you want to stay live, we're here with you. Well, yeah, I mean, I'll stay live a bit longer, as long as my battery will last. I mean, yeah, there's still something moving in the woods back there. Keep in mind, when I say something's moving in the woods, I'm not insinuating that it's a Bigfoot, okay? I'm just saying there's something moving in the woods. Got to have my reading glasses to. No, the crickets are still going, Pyro. Okay, if I move the phone, um, if I move the phone, it doesn't get as good of signal for the video. But would you guys like for me to pick the phone up and go for a walk? Yeah, Chris, this is not an armadillo. This was I'm thinking if it's just one of your regular animals, it's probably like a deer. It's not the sound like an armadillo makes in the leaves. I'm very familiar with that. This was something different. Hopefully not a mountain lion, which somebody I know has seen. Oh, hey, Brian. Red Dirt Cryptids here. Walk would be cool. Okay. Let me put on my other glasses real quick. We'll see what I'll walk into. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, now I'm just moving the tripod around. So if I catch any eye shine, you'll see what I see. Okay, so there's my campfire. It's out. I'm gonna be watching where I step because I don't want to step on a copperhead for sure. I hope y'all can hear that whippoorwill. So anyway, well, guys, I just got a data warning on my phone, so I'm gonna have to. I've been on here hour and 42 minutes, so they're gonna start charging me for data if I don't get off of here. So I'm gonna have to cut this short for right now. I'm gonna get my air mattress out and get it set up for the night. So anyway, yeah, I'm watching for snakes for sure. So anyhow, I said been on here a good hour, nearly 2 hours. So I'm gonna call it. And coyotes just started up. So hey, thanks for joining in the chat. And till next time, you guys take care.